Alright, another recent arrival. Here is the video review for Generation Toy J4ZZ, or Jazz, if it's easier to say. But his name actually is J4ZZ, as evidenced here on his box, J4ZZ. He comes in the nice Generation Toy packaging. I really do love their packaging. There's some cool art on it. Warnings and stuff on the back. And then it slides out to form a really solid box that opens up kind of BotCon box style. And then has the the figure tray with a nice foam cover, and then the figure packed in the box itself there. So normally I don't focus too much on packaging, but I have to say Generation Toy I think has some of the best toy packaging for each figure out there right now. And of course you get his little instruction booklet included. So onto the figure itself. Here he is in vehicle mode, and he's kind of an updated, more modern-y Porsche. I don't know if he's 100% accurate to modern Porsches. I don't own a Porsche. I'm not super familiar with Porsches, but I do like the updated design. It's a little smooth. It reminds me more of like the real-world version of what animated Jazz turned into. Similar. He's got the same kind of roundish headlights up here, but a nice, slick-looking car. Now, he doesn't have a full interior. You can see his feet kind of hanging out in there. But one of the things I do like is the doors open, and you'll see this little shiny piece right here. That's a magnet. So it holds the doors open and closed, but you're not trying to, when you start off transformation, you're not trying to unpeg or slide, something apart to get that tab of the door off, like some of the masterpieces did. Just a really strong magnet in there, and then in the door, and it kind of helps the door snap shut. And even from sorry, it's a really simple feature, but it's really cool. I like it. And there's the underside. I'm also happy to report that he is actually a nice pearlescent white. He's got a little bit of shine to him, but he is white, like Jazz should be. Some of the pictures had him on a dark black iron, and because of that pearlescent coating, made it look like he might have been a very light gray or silver, like a Streetwise type of gray. And I'm happy to report, which honestly, from one design perspective, would make sense if they were trying to make him a little bit more modern, look a little bit like his movie counterpart. Like a silver car. I think that light silver car doesn't necessarily not work for Jazz, but I was really hoping that he'd be this nice pearlescent white, and he is. So anyway, enough about colors. To transform him, we come up here and we start off by pulling out these little missile launchers, if you can get your finger underneath them. If you can't, not a big deal, because we can get to them other ways. But pull the wheels out like that, and see where they're tabbed on there. There we go. So you get your finger in the joint. And flip these out. This little tab flips up, and this whole assembly folds down and tabs into here, and then this whole assembly lifts up. You can open the doors and pull the arms up, and then this whole assembly comes up and out. You see we're rotating the whole front wheel well. If you've ever transformed a Jazz or one of the MP Datsuns, you know what you're getting. And honestly, I totally forgot to do this. Oh, hang on one second. Let's just flip him back together real quick, because I meant to show him off with one of the MP Datsuns, and we can do that very quickly. Fold this guy up. Alright, we don't have to make it pretty. We're just going to get him back into vehicle mode. And come here. Real quick, just to give you an idea of how he scales. with an MP Datsun. There you go. So he's very much an MP scaled car. Let's do it this side so that door's open. Close a little better. Meant to do that a minute ago. But yeah, there you go. So there he is, scaled with one of the Masterpiece cars. Alright. Onward and upward. Wheels out. Arms out. Oh hey, our power just went out. Alright, and our power is back. It's weird, it's not storming or raining, it just power went out. Okay. So yeah, anyway, we'll pull these out. Right back where we were. So come under here, open the doors, get on the floors. Everybody play with dinosaurs. Anyway, lift these up. Bring the arms down and around like this. Pull the wheel up. Bring the shoulder hinge, rotates up and around. Like that. For now, we're going to go ahead and do as the instructions say and bring these rocket launchers up here. Don't worry. I got you. Just wait. So I'm here, and then again, inside this piece, you bring the wheel up, and then the shoulder joint lifts up there on that hinge and raises up in that slot. So we're looking like that. Open up his forearms. Come here, you. Alright. Flip out his hands, rotate them, plug them in. And then open, like I said, door should have stayed open, those magnets. Go ahead and flip those waste pieces down so the magnets don't keep catching it. Anyway, lift this whole thing up. Again, if you ever transformed to Jazz, you got a pretty good idea of how we're doing all this stuff. And on the back, you want to come back here. You have to open these panels up. Lift the gray panel up, bring it all the way down and around like this, which allows you to start opening up the legs here, get the feet up past the bonnet. And then this, you untab this here. This whole inner assembly should rotate up and around here. Pull it out. This window rotates up into the leg. If it will cooperate with me, there we go. Just like that. This whole assembly right here. Bring this down. Rotates up. Or is it this way? It's up like this. This closes up. Yeah, see that snaps in there to form the knee. Foot comes up. Open up the back panel here. This panel lifts up to allow the foot to transform. This should be snapping in here, and I don't know why suddenly this has decided to fight me. There we go. So plug that in there. The foot, rotate this around, flip out the heel, and then there's a little panel here that fills out the side of the inside of the foot. So flip that out like that. Bring this panel up and around, and bring the foot down. And there's a leg. And same over here. Goes down. Rotate that up, bring that down, fold that up. Against in there. Plug in the knee. Bring the foot down. This little silver piece goes in a slot there, locks that into place. Transform the foot, and flip out the little heel piece. And there's the legs. At this point, you want to flip down these waist pieces, rotate the waist around to the front, and then inside here, flip this panel down, flip his head up, push it up through there, and then there's two little panels here that again can be a little bit of a bugger to get up. But lift those up. Those are going to form, kind of fill in his sides there. And then this panel, all this comes down. This peg right here is going to peg into the front part of the waist. Bring these side panels down. You can see those are filling in. Bring the arms down. Waist forward. And on his head, fold this panel in, of course. Fold that up. Just kind of sits there on his back. You can bring it down a little bit if you want. Fold the windows down. And then on his head, there's a little... The instructions just say pull his head up. Ta-da! That's it. And he's out of frame. Sorry, power going out. Threw me off. So, yeah, this piece tabs in here. And then, but you pull his head up. And the instructions just say pull his head up like this. Which works, but there actually is underneath here an extra flap that you open up, and it's got a little peg on it that pegs in right here. So you want to make sure to take that flap and then peg that in, and then his head doesn't collapse into his chest. It sits securely and can turn and look around. It's on a ball joint. And then you can position the wheels really however you want. If you want them sitting flat, there he is in robot mode. He does come with a weapon. It has a little hinge on it. I think that may just be for vehicle mode, so you can aim it because you can plug this into the top of the car, but it looks like he's got a smaller pistol hiding inside a rifle. And then, but you can put that in his hand. And there's Jazz. So he's got ball joint head, swivels here on all the shoulders, both up in here, bicep swivel, dual hinged elbows. He's got a hinge up here as well as down here. Swiveling fingers. The hands are all one piece that opens. He does have waist swivel. Does not have an ab crunch. Front to back, side to side. A little bit of a thigh swivel, although the shape of the upper leg keeps it from moving too much. He's got a lower knee swivel, ratcheting knees. He does have ankle tilt, as well as some front to back there on his foot. And again, you can fold these panels back or forward depending on how you prefer them on the back. Now, a lot of people were complaining about these shoulder launchers. I'm not really for or against them. They're there. But if you don't like them, you can, they don't completely hide away, but you can kind of fold them down. Thanks to how their hinge works and everything, you can kind of fold them down and hide them behind the arms. Thought I had a better way of getting them up closer against the arm, but you know, there's all sorts of ways you can rotate. If you want to just fold them up there again behind the back of the arm, although that does then get in the way of the door opening all the way. If you want the doors out to be straight horizontally, that missile launcher will get in the way if you fold it up. So you can fold it up or down, but there are ways to get rid of that if you don't like it. Plus, they're on a ball joint. If you really don't like it, they form nothing structurally important in the car. They just store up under the hood. If you remember from the beginning of the video, you can just pop those off. There's actually, honestly, and even if you don't like that, you can unscrew it right there. Although you want to leave this piece attached, because that peg right there is how the wheels peg into the arm and stay steady and don't keep popping up in vehicle mode. But you can absolutely just pop those missile launchers off if you don't like them. And that gives you a Jazz that looks more like that. And then just some real quick size comparisons. Here he is with, again, the Classics Prime mold. So you can see a little too big to fit in scale-wise with Classics figures. Here he is with Human Alliance Jazz, just because I found him. So again, a little small for a Human Alliance sized vehicle or robot. I did dig out Animated Jazz because I found him. I wanted to show him off next to Classics Jazz, the Reveal the Shield Jazz, and I have no idea where it went. It was in one of the my storage bins, and because I remember finding him. I remember pulling him out of the storage bin somewhat recently and saying, "Oh yeah, Jazz, I want to play with him." I remember giving him the little Target Master that came with Cyclonus, and now I cannot find him. I am sorry. I really wanted to show him off with that. I know I still have him somewhere, but he has disappeared off the face of the earth. He was not in any of the bins outside. He was not in any of not in my display room. I don't know where he went. I apologize. But here he is with Masterpiece Blue Streak. And size-wise, from pure looks, I don't know that his design 100% fits with... And I'm mostly thinking of his head here. I mean, really, like the body could easily fit, I think, with Masterpiece figures. His face looks a little different than what we've been getting, especially with the smaller Autobot cars. But not too far off. I mean, like you could certainly set him up on the shelf and call it a day. But it is a very nice looking Jazz figure, regardless of where it fits in your Masterpiece collection. I do like him. I like Jazz. I think he turns into a cool car. I like his color scheme. I like the stripes. He kind of reminds me of Herbie. Shush. Yes, the racing car. But I've always kind of dug his color scheme, and I like Jazz as a character. So very solidly constructed. A decent transformation. I like the way they solved a few of the things. Like they could have just left this empty. I like that they engineered a couple panels in there so you weren't looking through his body. I don't really care one way or the other for the launchers. I don't love them. I don't hate them. But like I said, you can mitigate that. I love the paint scheme, especially in vehicle mode. I think his vehicle mode looks great. I love the color scheme on it. I love the pearlescence. And I think it's a very nice representation of Jazz. No problem issues I can think of. I do think having the panel on the foot is a little odd, like this little side panel, but it does its job, and it looks like a foot. Sure, it's hollow underneath, but it doesn't keep him from standing, and it doesn't seem to be pushing in accidentally, just imposing. So it's a neat, it's a different idea, but it works. And really, that's what it comes down to. Like, you can do all kinds of weird stuff in your designs as long as when I get to play with it, it works. And everything on this guy works. I love the magnets in his little waist pieces. Like, see, here's the underside of the magnets there on his waist that form the side flaps. But I love the idea of having the magnets hold the door closed. That was genius. That was a really smart move, I think, on their part. Very cool. But yeah, there he is. Generation Toy Jazz.